What's going on, Los Santos? In this video I'm going to show you the world record for console for the Cayo Perico Heist with 2 people. So it's a 2-man Cayo Perico Heist console world record, and it's for speed. We're going to be uploading it over to this website. We're going to be uploading it to speedrun.com. You can see that the PS4 record for 3 people is 37:41, but you can see for Xbox One it is 46 minutes, for PS4 it is 55 minutes, and our run is I think about 39 minutes. The mods on speedrun.com might be able to cut us a little bit of time in between there. But we recorded this yesterday, and we love running the Cayo Perico Heist. We've been practicing, my teammate Bud and his video will also be linked in the description below if you want to see the video from his perspective as well, because we recorded a couple of our runs, but we realized we needed it recorded from both perspectives, so we have it from both perspectives. So throughout this video I'm going to be kind of giving you some tips and tricks and just kind of what was going on if you want to try to replicate this yourself and try to get a higher score than ours. But this is just one of our first entries into this, and we should take the world record with this video. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna hit play on the video. So we start right here. I'm waiting for Pavel to give us the Cayo Perico Heist again, so I'm doing a little dance, and he does give it to us, so we pay the 25,000. And now I'm going to hit the button officially here, and let me see where it's like it. I think I want to say it starts at let me back up a little bit. It starts right, let's see that timer up on the clock. We went back a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can get the exact time here of when we start. So I hit that, and I think right as we hit gather intel it starts. So that would be 1930, like 1931. Let's call it 1930. All right, so first thing you always do after you gather the intel, also make sure that your teammate is on board the sub with you, so you can fast travel to the first location. I usually cycle through quite a bit here because I want to see if there's any route that I'm missing. We're gonna head to North Chumash, basically going to get as close to where the plane is as possible, and we're gonna fast travel over there to make that happen. So we're gonna fast travel, wait for this cutscene. I'm not sure what time the mods can they can clear off any of the lobby time. Not exactly sure how that goes down as far as cutting back the time in that regard, but I'm just, we did it under 40 minutes with all that included. So we're going to, after we do that, you run back to the Sparrow, and you want to have your teammate waiting by the Sparrow. Hit triangle to get into the Sparrow itself. Always look over to the right, make sure that the door is closed before you hit R2, otherwise you can leave your teammate behind, so you don't want to do that. So we're gonna lift off here. We had a strategy of kind of like going over the top and dropping down to the plane itself, but now we've kind of been going more with a tactic where we just try to fly as low as possible, as fast as possible. The Sparrow I think can get up to like 140 miles per hour, which is actually really fast. So it can go pretty quick. It's a pretty quick helicopter. We're gonna go over the top, but we're gonna try to go as low as possible and kind of crash land this thing right next to the plane. Now there's about 5 enemies, I want to say, that are making some kind of a transaction here, and they offer a little bit of resistance, but they also kind of cower, and they're really not too much of your focus. You want to kind of like eliminate them, but it's more about getting on the plane as quick as possible. We definitely could have landed closer to the plane, but this is actually kind of, there's not like a ton of room to land right there, just kind of doing the best we can. I kind of knock out one guy. Bud usually kind of clears the space because it's gonna take me a second to start the plane anyways to get the engine going, so kind of doing that the best that we can there. The wheels of the plane kind of knock into some stuff on the ground, whether it's the NPC characters or like sometimes it can be like a briefcase or something like that. Get some altitude, make a left here. It's very difficult to take this plane like over a mountain, especially off the start. So finding a gap or an area like Grapeseed is a great place to land because of that, because you can kind of take off and get going without having to gain a lot of altitude. So for this, I mean, it wasn't the best plane run in the world. There's not really that much you can do to make it go faster. You can kind of nosedive the plane a little bit, but I don't know, it's kind of inconsequential. This part kind of just takes 5 minutes no matter what you do. I think our fastest that we've ever got from here to gathering the entire intel is about 9 minutes, but it usually takes about 10 minutes regardless of what you do. So this part is just kind of you're just kind of chilling, you know, overtake take a look at the city, cruise through. There's actually a glitch right now where I get nervous every single time I drive this plane, because I don't know, ever since the most recent patch, if you can go all the way to this yellow dot, and it can like not trigger the mission. So I always get really nervous every single time, because it's kind of a bummer if you drive the plane all the way there, fly the plane all the way there, and then all of a sudden you don't get to start the mission. Like, I was able to get it started one time when it did the glitch by like nosediving the plane and starting it, but for the most part lately it's been pretty good. So what I look over at the mini map in the bottom left, and you can kind of see how it has that arrow pointing down or that arrow pointing up depending on where you are. It's like a very small window where it used to be like really forgiving, and now it's just a little bit more tricky. So I'm trying to pay attention to that. That's why I'm kind of adjusting the altitude a little bit here and there, especially when we get over to like where we gotta land. And then you want to let go of R2. It seems to like help it trigger it. Make sure that you get into this spot, because trust me, it's happened to me. I run this all the time, so maybe it's just happened to be more by running it hundreds and hundreds of times. Or I don't even know how many times I've done the Cayo Perico Heist, but it's been a lot. And but basically, I would let go of R2 once you kind of like hear the sound effect of it. Once you hear the sound effect of it doing whatever it's going to do, it makes like a little like, I don't even know how to explain it, but you'll hear the sound effect. That's why I let go of R2. All right, so we're going to be flying there. Again, a fun tidbit here is the plane, when you enter, it doesn't look the same graphically. I think it takes on the look of whatever your sub looks like. Like, I have like a white sub with an orange bottom for the paint job, and it looks like that's what the plane looks like when you go in. And again, remember, if you want to watch this after you watch this video, make sure you watch it from Bud's perspective as well, so you can see it from both the perspectives, because we're going to be doing two different things. You know, teamwork is just so important, and we've practiced so much that we're really in sync. We don't even use a mic. We haven't used a mic for a long time. We just like we use like PlayStation.com to chat and stuff like that. So the first thing you want to do is I got the PS5, so I load in quicker. He has the OG PS4, so what I do is I just book it to that bike, because my loading time's a little bit quicker. Then I just pop in. I kind of take my route right here. This wasn't the best route. I just kind of feel that part of it out. I mean, for the most part, that's kind of what I do. Then I'm gonna cruise over on the side. Then the thing you want to do here is immediately target where this jump is right here. It's really important to target where that jump is. I was actually pretty slow that time. I didn't even get that much of air. This actually was not. I can run this a lot faster, a lot better. But sometimes it's just about making it work. I don't know if I thought our plane was slow. Like, sometimes I always try to go as fast as I can, but it's like, it's weird in speedrunning. It's like you want to go as fast as you can, but you got to be under control and get things done at the same time. So pretty much no regard, I always go over that part now. Use that big hill. This bike can really jump. All you gotta do is pull down on the left stick, and this bike can hop over a ton of stuff. It's a great bike. You gotta watch the two caravans there. I'm gonna try to beat the second caravan through there. That's a really forgiving spot. The spot I just went through as well, really forgiving. Like, it looks like there's a lot of brush there, but a lot of times you can get through. Here's one extra jump that I've been making too right at the end to get over this bar, is you just want to ramp up off that thing the best you can. That'll get you right to the side. That guard won't mess with you. Always go in these doors. Always check on the ground too. You know, always check on the ground. So we actually got pretty bad RNG on this one because the box that you got to hack or whatever wasn't on the bottom. So I actually got to climb up the ladder here to try to go and source it and figure out where it is. Did we get really bad RNG? So this is the first time I'm watching it run back itself, and hopefully we're gonna be able to put out faster ones than this. But we wanted to like get our submission in because I think it takes like maybe a week or something for them to get back, you know, and for the mods to review it and everything like that. So we're gonna have to go all the way up the ladder. Is that all three? I believe it is. So we gotta go up all 3 spots on the ladder, which really, that's actually costing us like, I mean, every second kind of counts. You know what I mean? When you're doing a speed run, every second counts. So we're gonna get up to the top here. We're gonna hack into the signal box. And this is a lot of just doing quick math in your head and knowing what the symbols over on the right means. The X means times 10. The one line through with the box, it means times 1, and then the 2 slashes means times 2. So you gotta do some math in your head quickly to figure that out. Luckily it was all 3 lines across there, and that's basically how you do that. Now once I've got it hacked, he's gonna do the scoping and I'm gonna eliminate myself, because when you eliminate yourself, it takes you all the way back to the plane. So just kind of a little bit of time management. And he also, as my teammate, since I'm hosting, he doesn't have to go back to the plane. Once I go to the plane, it'll take him back. So this is another little part right here. I have to wait kind of a little bit away from the plane too. So I'm just basically looking bottom left to see when he scopes it out. So he's scoped out the primary target. You actually don't have to scope out anything but the primary target if you know where all the locations are. But so there's that dialogue box in the top left. Return your plane when you're ready to go to Los Santos. It takes a while to go away. Usually I run over here to try to get it to go away because it takes forever. And then you can go back to the plane and finally hit right on the D-pad, and it will bring him back over to me, and then we will go back and see the plane. It changed like color schemes again. It went back to the original. When you load, it's very strange. I don't know why it loads in with the color of your submarine, but that's what it does on the way there. But on the way back, it goes back to red. This is just one of those things you only notice if you've played this like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. All right, so we're gonna land back in Los Santos. We're done gathering the intel, and this is kind of where we go our separate ways a little bit. The first thing I do is I return the sub to storage, because the reason I do it there too is if you do it sometimes early, like if you do it when you're flying the plane there originally, like it can glitch the sub out and make it pop up and down a lot. So I do it right there. And then when you run with 2 people also, there's always helicopters over here for some reason. If you run like a solo run, I swear they're never there, but when you run like with 2 people, there seems to be a helicopter here all the time. So instead of calling in my Sparrow, I just run over to this, and I get I get the sub ready to call, and the sub's always gonna call in the same spot. I wait till I get past that one building so I can try to get the sub in the spot that I want it, and this is pretty much a direct line right to the submarine itself. Meanwhile, as you would see in Bud's video, he's going over to the town to get ready to get close to where the missions are going to spawn. So here comes the sub in right here. We're gonna fly a little bit over to the right, and then the reason I do that is because I know I'm gonna be jumping out that left window. And then this is really important too, is you gotta nail this landing as much as possible. You know, just practice your parachuting, do all those like parachuting things that you have on the map. But I did those a long time ago. And then I kind of pulled down on the stick to just like, you want that good landing off this. You don't want to land in the water. It's going to cost you time. So good landing there. I don't always land perfectly, but I try to land the best that I can. All right, so now I'm going to go over to the planning board. Always kind of do things in the same order, so you know what to expect. The first thing that we're always going to do is we're gonna do the plasma cutter. If we had safe codes for casino, we would have done that, but we're gonna do the plasma cutter. So I start that mission for him so he can get things rolling. He can get over to the safe house. He can take the picture of the heist board. And what I'm gonna do in the meantime is I'm going to move the submarine a little bit closer to my yacht, because I need to move the sub close to my yacht, so when I bring the items back, I can land right into the submarine. And the hot tub, like the MK2 can land in the water for, I don't know, it's decently able to land in water, and it can land in the hot tub, which once I figured that out is very, very, very helpful, because it just adds a really quick landing spot. You can always use L1 and R1 here to kind of move this, to turn the sub faster. So I've gotten a lot better at driving the sub. Now you can put this, you got to be careful when you move the sub right here, because it can glitch out if you put it in like a really bad spot. So sometimes I park it a little bit closer. This time I just like wanted to get to my MK2 as fast as possible. So you're probably wondering, where's the MK2? You haven't even seen it. And I always call the MK2 like the MK2 oppressor. That's kind of what I'm referring to in that. So what I do is I park it next to the yacht, and then I get out as quick as possible. Meanwhile, Bud is doing what he's got to do to get this mission going. I'm gonna hop on either the speedboat or the jet ski, and I'm gonna try to get over to the beach as quick as possible. It's also really important, you need to be a motorcycle club president. You don't want to be in the Securo serve stuff. You don't want to be a CEO. You want to be the motorcycle club president. Now what I've noticed here is I used to like kind of like speed way past on the sand here, but now I just kind of stop at the edge of the sand, because I know it's going to put the oppressor kind of like on the edge right here. So I'm going to stop kind of sometimes you don't I don't want to go like 30 feet out into the sand, or 100 feet out into the sand. I just want to like get to the sand, call that in from my MC club, and now I got my bike. He's got his bike. Now Del Perro is actually a pretty good spawn, just because it's really close to the yacht and the submarine. So right here, he's gonna do work. He's gonna hit it with some rockets, and I got to be careful here not to hit him with some rockets as well, because I could blow up his MK2, and that's gonna nerf the run pretty quickly. So I'm looking at him, I'm looking where his MK2 is. I see I got some good distance. I'm gonna blow up those cars to give him a little bit of cover. He's gonna get the plasma cutter. Now what he's going to do is he's going to eliminate himself, so I can go and get the plasma cutter myself. And the reason that we're gonna do that is because now he can go get set up for the next mission. I can grab it, I can take it back. Another key tip about flying your MK2 oppressor is make sure you hold R2 and hold R1 when you fly. It retracts these back wings, and it makes you fly a lot faster. So that's just like a tip. If you want to fly faster on your MK2 op, hold R2 and R1 when you're flying. So we're gonna hop right into the hot tub itself, and then I'm gonna try to use the flagpole. Sometimes I miss the flagpole, and you gotta remember, like, you never really know when it's gonna be a world record run, because there's so much stuff. So like that was not good execution right there, going into the water. I'm trying to jump out that flagpole as much as possible. I really actually need to practice that a lot more, like just like go out and just do dry runs of like running off that flagpole, because ideally, and also I really didn't park the sub perfectly. I kind of parked it quickly. Like sometimes I'll back it up a little bit and make it as close as possible so I can hop off that flagpole right onto the edge as much as I can. So now it's time to go select the fingerprint cutter, or the fingerprint cloner. You're going to use this basically to do the hacking you need to do once you get to the main island. All right, so we got that going. Now, huge tip here is just walk off the side. You don't want to swim. You just kind of want to walk. It's going to be way faster to just kind of mosey on over. Instead of using the ladder, hop up in the middle as well. Instead of going all the way up the stairs, hop up the side as well. All those things are going to save you time. Most of the time, this thing stays pretty much like up and down in here. I don't know if it's because it kind of keeps its wing above the edge or whatever, but having it in the hot tub is really, really beneficial. Like I just was like, all right, I'm gonna try this at random to see if it can go in there, because I used to be real meticulous with where I would park my MK2, but I guess it likes to go into the hot tub. So I always check on the warehouse just to make sure that he's going over there. He always is, but I always like backing up your teammates really, really important. Like even on like when I'm on the bike, doing the intel, like it's really, really important to back up your teammate. Just to save runs. So I've got some point of interest mark on my map, and we've done it a lot of times. This time I pretty much went with like a guess of where it's gonna be. So I marked that point of interest right over here. This is where it could possibly be. It can be a couple different spots. It can be over by the Ferris wheel. It can be kind of on the side of like this building, and then it can be under the underpass over here. So sometimes I wait at Vespucci, which is one of the buildings in the middle of the city, but this time I decided to go like straight to this spot because this spot's kind of like difficult to get to, and I almost knew right then and there this was going to be the spot I was going to trigger to based on like where he was, and then based on the fact that I saw those cameras there. You can see those red blinking lights. Like I saw those cameras there, and I was thinking to myself, like, this probably is the spot this time, because why would those cameras be there? Like, I don't know if the cameras are normally in the other spots, but I just felt like this could be the spot where it was at this time. So I'm like, this I feel like saved us a lot of time, just in general. I'm waiting for him to take care of his business, but I'm in a good spot. I should have gotten way closer, but the reason I'm not getting closer because I wasn't sure if it was going to be this, but it actually was going to be this time. So I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna hop over the couch. I don't even care about these cameras. I used to always knock out these cameras, but I don't care about those cameras at all. If they want to see me, you know, basically they're not going to call the cops on you because they are you know, it's like what's his name's Rubio, like he doesn't call the cops because of his position or whatever. So like you only have to worry about his goons. So I'm not really too worried about his goons on their car. So I'm looking for this spot. There's 3 spots it can be. It's all in this back area. You can kind of see the fingerprint cloner from a distance too, the more experience you get. It's gonna be like next to one of those computers in that little area, so I go and get that. Also, you can't hit R2 in this area. You can only hold R2. You know, you can kind of like and I say R2 because I use alternate FPS 2 for my controls, which I really recommend. This area I kind of hop over to the side just to like try to get away from everything as much as possible. I feel like when I'm just in my mind, I messed this part up a little bit, or I could have done better. I'm trying to think of what I did. Let's see, did I go out? I didn't hit a sign or anything. I don't know. I guess I wasn't. What I know, I might have messed up the landing. There's something I remember I messed up on this part because I remember I was so excited that I was like right at the spot where, you know, I was able to pick that up. That I feel like I messed up something. I was like, well, at least I got to that other spot quickly, just kind of save some time. So cruising back here as much as possible. I'm going to get across the water. I just don't know if my landing was perfect. There was something that was off here. I think I might have like overshot my landing because I was so excited. Yeah, I started to, yeah, that's what happened. I'd rather lower it down with R1 than triangle, because triangle kind of does what it wants to do. But you know, at this point I'm like, dude, just let me get off into the get off the MK2, and then let me get back up over here to the sub, hit right on the D-pad, and go back in and start to trigger the next mission. So not the best landing there at all. What you really want to do to land well is you can come in screaming, like going really, really fast, but you got to hit L2. That's the first thing I should have done. I don't think I ever hit L2. You want to hit L2 because you can come to a complete stop quickly. Like you can stop on a dime by hitting L2, and I just messed that up. And you know, it happens. This is a really, really, really long run. You know, it's like a 30 or 40 minute run with tons of details and tons of things that you can always improve on or do better. You just gotta stick with it and keep plugging along as much as possible, and just if you make a mistake, just mitigate it quickly. Ideally at some point we're always like searching for that perfection run where there's 0 mistakes are made the whole entire time, but it happens from time to time, just by like, you know, a little bit. So our run can definitely always be improved, you know what I'm saying? And if you were watching this video, I challenge you to try to take what you've seen in this game plan and this blueprint and do it even faster than we have done it, because we're just really passionate about the Cayo Perico Heist. So he's already in GTA in general, so he's already up top of this construction building. Again, he usually waits at the top of this one. There's 3 locations that the cutting torch can be, and it's all at 3 different construction sites. This is a good place to start out though, because it's so high up. So he basically got a read that I'm like on the way. He knew that I was on the way to go pick this up, so he eliminated himself after finding it. Sometimes it can be difficult to find, but it's on the ground there. Don't have to get off the MK2 to pick stuff up like that. So I just hover over it, and now I've got the torch myself. And actually we're gonna have like a ton of speed. When you come down at this angle, holding R1 and R2 on the MK2, like you're gonna be absolutely cruising. You know, I think our speed probably got up to like maybe like 145, 150 right there on that downward angle. So you know, downward angle. We were talking about a little bit with the plane earlier on the initial intel, like that downward angle kind of like gravity gives you a little bit more miles per hour. I think this is a better landing because I had such a bad one last time. This is like an ideal landing. Just go and chill in that thing, keep it right side up. Did I get on the flagpole this time? I'd say I gotta practice my flagpole so bad because you don't want to be jumping in the water like this because it just takes a little while. It takes like way too long. That one took a long time, really. But hey, we're back over, we're in. So definitely just a couple of spots just watching this in review where I know I could be better in those moments, but that's why we practice. All right, so over to the heist prep here. We're gonna go to the weapon loadouts. We're gonna go to crack shot. And meanwhile, by the way, he's heading over to the Merryweather HQ. You can see that at the bottom. This mission is terrible. You do not want that mission at all. So he's over at Merryweather HQ, and there's a helicopter you got to follow, and so basically he's over there and he just rockets the helicopter immediately and it ends the mission. So that's really important. You do not want to run the Merryweather HQ mission with two people. You can just eliminate that helicopter off the bat that you're supposed to follow, and you just wait until you get the office. You just basically wait until you get the office building one that you're gonna go after. So once we got the office building one that we're gonna go after, there's like 3 or 4 I think there's 3 different office buildings, and then there's the Merryweather HQ. Once we get the office building, then I'm basically at this point I'm gonna take off for the office building. He's gonna start heading to the north of the map because that's where we're gonna eventually get the sonar jammer. And the sonar jammer, what it does is when we go in the final heist, it basically makes our sub undetectable as we go through the drainage tunnel. So that's what the sonar tunnel is for. The cutting torch is what we use to like kind of cut the lock and cut the drainage tunnel itself. The plasma cutter is what we use to cut through the material that houses, in this case, a tequila or whatever item that is like that. And then we also get the fingerprint cloner, which is what we use to hack into the semi-vaulted area that Rubio has. So I'm going basically for the building as quickly as possible. Eventually you memorize where all the buildings are, in particular based on their name. So I'm going to cruise over here. I'm going to drop off the bike right here, and then I'm going to start working on this. And he can back me up a little bit on this. In case I have a problem, he might back me up. Once he sees that I'm good and I'm here, he can pretty much roll out at that point, because most likely I'm not going to die. And even if I did die, I'm not going to spawn that far back. So the first thing I do is I'm going to go after this guy. I'm going to go after this guy. I'm going to go over to the right. I'm going to go after this guy. I'm using the special carbine MK2 here. I'm going to go after this guy. Kind of pre-aim the corners a little bit so I can get a better aim on that, and I'm gonna make sure everyone's eliminated in here. You don't need to go after that guy in that room over there. He just doesn't do anything. He just always stays in that room for some reason, so there's no real reason to go after him. You got to go up to the gun locker first to make sure that it is locked. Well, you got to go check it first so that it's locked, so then it like triggers the ability for you to hack what the code is. Now, when I hack this code, I basically look at the top left and I'm starting to look for 2519 as quickly as possible. I see it a little bit, like, I see it fast now, but in that moment, like, I didn't see it as fast. So I'm just really kind of searching like that with my eyes to try to find 2519. Usually, if you're from the first 2 numbers, is going to be the entire thing. It's not always the case. I think like one time in my life when I've been doing that style of hack in GTA, I've seen it where it's 3 numbers and not the 4th. Only like one time, so it's very rare for that to happen. So we're gonna go ahead and take the weapons there and kind of take a step back. And then this is the route I take back as well. I think it's the fastest route. Here is really important to slam left on the D-pad, left on the D-pad, left on the D-pad. So you go back to the top of the roof and not underneath the building. If you go underneath the building, that's where a bunch of enemies are. Your MK2 is not there. This is a disaster. So you got to make sure to hit left on the D-pad, which is a little bit away from muscle memory too, because you know, you usually hit right on the D-pad for just about every interaction. So left on the D-pad there is really important. Really important. You can't hit right on the D-pad there. And trust me, I've done it multiple times in the past. So now we're cruising back. And you get Bud's heading to the north of the map, because that's basically where Merryweather is going to have their submarine kind of below the water, guarded by a helicopter and 3 dinghies. And then we're going to we're gonna try to make our way over there very fast travel. At this point too, I was thinking like I could really ditch this thing a lot faster because I don't even need it anymore. So that was I had some bad lands in this one. I had some terrible lands in this one, to be completely honest with you. You know, that's a good like 10-15 seconds right there, and I can get that down to like 5 seconds if I'm just on point. So I'm going to focus on practicing my landing and practicing my flagpole jumping. But I felt like the missions, as far as the missions in this run, we were just completely on point. Bud was able to get like the missions done super fast, give me the items that I needed to get back over there. All right, so at this point we go to the very top mission. I know I selected that very fast. When you select the top mission, I just know it's always the top mission. So it's approach and then the subs right at the top. And this is the point where I was like, all right, we're having a good run. I just know we're having a good run. I always kind of listen to a playlist of music in the background, so I kind of have a barometer in my head without looking at a clock. Like, oh, we're on this song and this mission, like we must be going pretty fast. So I kind of like start my playlist at the start of that. Just this rock 80s playlist that I listen to. All right, so we're basically what I'm doing now is I'm fast traveling the sub up to the top of the map because this mission's always at the top of the map. He's cruising over on his MK2 so he can take out the helicopter and those dinghies and stuff like that and start getting ready to dive himself. I think actually in this one he went and dove a little bit earlier without even taking everything out, which is completely fine, which is actually probably better strategy, so he can get down to the sub as quick as possible. Because now that I think about this, I remember getting there, maybe knocking out one of the boats, and again I'm gonna drive to that dot, so once he gets the sonar jammer, he can pop back up out of the water. We don't have to deal with any of the reinforcements that are coming. He's like pretty much already there. You can see in the bottom left part of the map, he's cruising over on his bike. But I'm trying to think if he just like said forget it and like went into the water, because that will work. But he's got to be careful just getting in the water and get away from like where the you know, the 3 dinghies and the helicopter over the top that are guarding it. As long as he can get in there, maybe he only has to take out one, but I can see that helicopter floating around. But I think he might have attacked them too, because I remember the helicopter going away. You'll see that in a minute, because I got out with my explosive sniper to see if I could eliminate the helicopter, and I remember it being gone, which can happen if the helicopter takes a little bit of damage. Sometimes it'll just go away once you get outside of the sub. It just flies away. It's like, wow, we've taken enough damage, or it fell, or he could have knocked it out at that point. But I think he's in the water at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate these boats with the missiles on the sub, and then once I can see that they're eliminated, I know he's going after that down below, and he's going to get the jammer. I always go to try to help to get the jammer as much as I possibly can. It just kind of depends where the jammer location is. Like, we have our route, so we're both going to take once we get to the submarine itself. But I know that like he's really fast at getting the jammer itself. So I'm trying to get the sub parked in a position where he can come out of the sub from below and then hop into our sub to return the sonar jammer as quickly as possible. So I'm going out here, and at this point I'm thinking like there's one more helicopter that I want to make sure that I take care of the helicopter, and I get out my explosive sniper, and the helicopter is not even there, and he's already got the sonar jammer too. So at this point there's really nothing more for me to do. He was just so fast getting that there's really nothing more for me to do. It's basically at this point my best thing that I can do is just go back into the sub and wait for him to come back up to the surface and deliver the heist prepped item, which is the sonar jammer, which we're going to use to make sure that we have the cloakness that we need to go to the drainage tunnel without Rubio's goons seeing where we're at. All right, so I'm basically just watching the lower part of the mini map, waiting for his dot to pop back in. You know, I'm looking for his dot and just kind of waiting for a second. It takes a little bit for him to get back to the sub. Not long. It probably takes more time for him to actually like load into the sub. So I see heist prep complete. I see his dot. I'm gonna go straight over to the planning board. I don't know if the mods can cut us any kind of time on this with not this part, but I think in the lobby, which isn't much, but they might not either. So I do grab the heavy armor, and I hit play. I can go through this menu really quickly too. So when I do that, I basically I try to go through the, like, you could probably speed up this time as well. But I go through the menu and I want to make sure like we get both of our money. Like I want to get 50% on both of them. I want to select all these. The key thing with the weapon loadout is make sure you select the suppressors. Just double click that twice. You need the suppressors. And I go 50 and I give him 50 so we get so while we're practicing we at least get some loot on the way too. All right, and then we hit ready to play here. And make sure you scope the drainage tunnel. That's the one thing. If you're watching this video somehow and you've never done this heist, make sure you scope the drainage tunnel. It's like the sewer tunnels. It's like the sewer or the security tunnel in the Diamond Casino heist. So make sure you have that. This is by far the best entryway. This is by far the best way to get out. You're gonna see us get out of here in 5 minutes and 30 seconds, says Shabal. So I mean, this part's actually probably the easiest part of the entire run. Well, I don't know about that, but this part should not intimidate you at all. It's very, very easy to finish this out. So we're gonna head over here, and our route, I mean, this is on hard mode too, so this will work on hard mode too. Sometimes I feel like it puts us further away from where this gate is. I can never really tell if it's the same. It might be just like it's different times of the day or different weather out and stuff like that, that it just kind of looks different below. But we're gonna keep going here and just kind of swimming and swimming. Just tapping R2 as much as we can to get over. And again, I would really recommend using an alternate FPS 2, which I use our alternate FPS. I think that's a better control system. Having your turbo button being R2, it's way better than having it be an X. All right, for this, I kind of start off with some individuals. I noticed I messed it up. I don't know if my controller's a little bit messed up or whatever. I just kind of went with the paint on this one. You got to keep an eye on everything. If you do the paint doesn't work too bad. It's just kind of hard to keep it in the middle, so make sure you keep it in the middle, but it's kind of forgiving on the edges. You know, experiment with this. You'll be able to see how you can cut it in a lot of different ways. But that wasn't too bad. That was good enough for me. I kind of didn't swim perfectly there, which probably happens like only once out of 100 times that I wouldn't actually swim in there perfectly. Spam right on the D-pad here. Gotta spam right on the D-pad here. That's really important because you can get the trigger pretty quickly if you just start spamming it. And you gotta get through this cutscene as well. So we're gonna swim up. This is the exact route you want to take. I've showed it in a shorter video as well on the channel. We're gonna have a lot more GTA tips and stuff like that on the video because I just love GTA, so I want to make content for it. So this is really weird. We actually loaded it really slow. We could have saved time here. That's like really never happened before. We loaded it slow. But here's the route you want to take. You just book it. Just absolutely book it on this route right as you get in. And none of the guards will see you. It's like just the perfect route to take. You're gonna go right here. Sometimes the guard's right there, but this is the first guard you want to take out. I'll always unload that full clip. Lots of time. And make sure you check for the gate keys. Check for the gate keys also. It's really important. Sometimes both of those guards can drop the gate keys and you don't even see it. Like I won't even see it. And then this guy, you just want to rush him and put a clip in him as fast as possible. He ended up having the gate keys there, so I picked them up. And at this point, Bud's waiting down by the gate. Once I get the gate keys, he's gonna pop in and start stealing, the tequila in this instance. I'm gonna grab the key card, and I noticed on the way out, so we didn't even scope this, but this is what I'm saying. You don't have to scope anything but the main target. And if you just know where everything can possibly be, you can see the other stuff. So I just grabbed the painting because there's really not that much for me to do right now. We're undetected and he's down there, doing what he needs to do. So I want to make sure I check for a painting. We're just going to grab the painting, get a little bit of extra money. I like to get the safe for the extra money. If you're going to go for all the stuff too, you always got to go get that first key card up there too. What I wish was better is if you're going for more money, like I wish the guards like kind of drop the key card a little bit more consistently. Like there's so many guards that can drop like the main key card, but it is what it is. That kind of makes it for some better replayability. So at this point, I know he's got this unlocked. I know he's about to get this in here. So I'm just kind of messing around at this point, just working on some of my roles, just kind of chilling. I'm waiting for him to get the tequila, and I know that once he gets the tequila, we're about to book it out of here. What's important when you leave, especially if you're doing a speed run, I mean, you can really do it, if you're just doing a regular run too, honestly. But if you're doing a solo run, you wouldn't want to do this. But if you're doing a 2-man run, this is like a really good strategy to use. It's like, all right, we're gonna book out of here as quick as possible. And at this point, we don't care if we set off the alarm. In fact, we want to set off the alarm. So I'm knocking him. I'm gonna pull out the sniper rifle and just start shooting at random. And once I kind of hear that alarm noise start to go off, that's when I'm gonna do it like this, because I think the gameplay gets a little bit I don't know what to say, like it gets like a little bit dark. So I'm basically at this point, we want to set up the alarm, because what happens after we get through this door is they'll start to rush us with like this like motorized vehicle and 2 bicycles, well, 2 motorbikes I should say. And the motorcycles, like you want the motorcycles, otherwise if we don't set up the cops, you gotta run like a really long way to the right to get like the second motorcycle. And you definitely want motorcycles here. So Bud's able to help me clear this guy out, and then he's gonna get the other motorcycle that comes from the left. So they just engage you a lot faster. You can get the bikes a lot faster. That's why you set up the alarm at the end. Now you want to go over this hill, you want to go to the left of this big tree, and you're going to see this path that develops, and you can really book it. And then you always want to go off this direction too, because you don't have to swim very far. Look at Bud hit that flip. Bud hits that flip. Bud had a phenomenal run during this one, just like an A+ run. We were probably like 5 or 6 runs deep on the day, so we were like really warmed up. Just a phenomenal run. I gotta give a shout out to my teammate. Just a phenomenal run. And then we're gonna go over here. I'm not sure if this technically mods, as this was where it ends, but this is basically the end of the mission right here at like 58:16. So we're gonna go ahead, and that's all you gotta do. And if you've never seen like exiting like this before, trust me, you don't have to swim like a really long way. That's the way you want to go, so you don't have to swim at all. It makes it so, like I used to hate, we used to go like way out to the left like a long time ago, and you have to like swim for like a minute. Like I don't like to swim any further than I have to. Jumping off with the bikes right there is the perfect spot. Then you come back here, and you're going to end up finishing up the heist, and you're going to drop off the loot. So really fun. I love GTA so much, and we've been running this Cayo a bunch, just practicing. We just been kind of interested ever since we saw speedrun.com trying to get on the board. So hopefully the submission will be worthy, and if not, we will put together another run and just have fun playing the game. And hopefully maybe this video inspired you to want to make a run with your friends yourself, or try something like that. Cayo's a great one to speedrun too, because you get a lot of money. So if you want to buy like cards and the cool stuff in GTA, you can always do that there as well. So if you have any questions about this, I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you. Just hit me up down in the comment section below, and have a great day, and thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, have a good one, y'all. Peace out.